You're from where?
Sacramento.
Oh, Sacramento.
Yeah.
So far away.
I'm from Auckland, New
I'm
Zealand.
from New Zealand as well.
Are you? Oh, what's your name?
Lena.
Hi, you work for the Herald, yeah?
Yeah, I was just...
Yeah, cool.
So I can ask, how is it settling in LA and moving over?
It's cool. I've actually been chipping away at the Hollywood market for a good 6 or 7 years. I've been working extensively in Australia, so it was lucky that this kind of all worked out perfectly in terms of timing and getting the role, basically.
We already heard the shaved head story, so.
Did you?
The shaved head story,
Did she
yeah.
tell you?
Your showrunners told us.
It's a big deal. The hair is a big deal.
Paris of Video. That was thanks to Jane Campion shaving my head off, so for her miniseries. Yeah. So,
What was the appeal of the show, doing the show, especially you jumping into a series again?
I know.
I know, right? Crazy one?
I knew it!
So what for both of you, I wonder, what's the appeal of doing this particular show and of your character? What appeals to you? What is it about his character?
Have you guys talked to Sherry and Jen already? Yes. They were a big reason why I wanted to do the show. I met them and I loved them, and I loved that they were women, and I loved that they were writers, and I loved that they were a team. And I want to go into producing, and I want to move myself in that direction, and I thought that this would be such a great opportunity for me to learn. And I went into Smallville really young and reactive, and I didn't know what I was doing, and I feel like I can take this opportunity and get as much out of it as I can. And the character's super strong and amazing, and I think she'll be really fun to play.
and for me, to play a beast or a take on the beast, it's such a physical role, and I sort of grew up doing physical theatre and training in that sort of form of the arts. So for me, what I could bring to that physically was really interesting and intriguing. And because he's not always the beast, you know, he transforms in a Hulkish kind of way with his rage. You know, there's a really nice side of playing his humanity side and then also his sci-fi supernatural side.
Are you thankful that you don't have to deal with the makeup all the time?
Yeah, they do have a prosthetic scar that he has all the time, but that's nothing. The real makeup takes 3 hours, and we're still working it from the pilot as well. Still sort of carving it and getting the exact look of what we're after.
3 hours.
For the pilot, it was 6 days in a row, in it for 12 or 14 hours. Yeah. And in Toronto it was so cold, as you'd step out of the bus, because they use this glue, your face just goes, and it just all freezes your face.
Well, it's going to be so hot now, so
So now it's going to melt off.
So I'm the resident one, I guess you too. Saw the original. I have a sister, so I still sing the theme song in my head.
Jay watched it too, the original.
Of the original.
Yeah,
So
I loved it.
there's and you ran into this a little bit, having a few takes of a previous character you played.
Yes.
How faithful, I mean, making your acting choices. Like when you see Linda Hamilton or when you see Ron Perlman, you go, okay, that worked, but I don't want to be a carbon copy, obviously. So
I don't take my instinct from a previous work. I take it from what's on the page. So it's an interpretive choice with an imagination with the text. What they did with their characters was amazing, but I did like to take elements of the character rather than his performance, because that belongs to him.
Right.
That really Renaissance kind of man thing I loved. That he's very intelligent, he has all those books, he recites poetry, that really romantic side of the beast. I really want to weave that into this, because ours is so graphic novel that stuff can get easily lost. So I think that's a big part of the tone of the show that we need to keep.
Yeah, it feels a little like we're at a blank slate, I think that even with Sherry and Jennifer, although our template is the original show, it's a totally different new show, and I think that for you guys that actually saw the original, you know that. It's like, it's not the same. I don't think it's the same at all in many ways, yeah.
It doesn't have the fantasy element at all. I mean, the underground community.
Yeah, all that's gone, yeah.
Which I love, that underground community stuff. But who knows, eventually maybe there will be an underground community of beasts.
Well, what are you suggesting? Something could be in the works.
Well, there is a vast...
You guys know more than us now.
It's a little coy, but yeah.
There's a vast amount of stuff that they're toying with, which is very exciting. Which is in kind of that vein. But it changes every 5 minutes at the moment.
The pilot, I'm sorry, go for it.
You were in Smallville, and then you went to do Street Fighter, and then you were in Chuck, and now you're in Beast. What made you go into it? I mean, well, not what made you go into it, but how are you changing your roles?
You know what, I did, after I stopped Smallville, I did a bunch of small movies. I've done like a whole bunch of independent things that nobody sees. And that was fantastic.
I saw them.
Jay saw them. Oh, you didn't see all of them though. You saw one. And you saw it in the movie theater too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that I'm just trying to find, first of all, characters that I think are interesting, but also people that I want to work with and build relationships with. It's really important to me. Okay. Yeah.
The pilot, obviously the romance is there, but also the show has its darker aspects. Or if people get killed, it's interesting for you to get all those sort of elements and sort of be able to shift the tone back and forth with these characters.
Right, and I think it's going to get darker as well as we go along, especially with the Beast formation and what is happening chemically inside him, and what he does. I mean, he ends up murdering a lot of people himself, so he's dealing with all this emotion. His head is like a tangled nest of savage and noble impulses. So it's sort of playing with all that stuff, which is exciting.
Fun.
Yeah, but ours is a very graphic novel as well. And now our new director, Rick Boda, he's very much in the 80s, he's a cinematographer, and he did a lot of horror and thriller and sort of worked out how to like monsters and that sort of stuff. So he's going to bring a lot to the table in terms of the look of the show and giving it a really kind of comic book feel, I think.
Something you're familiar with?
Yes. Except ours was bright and light for
this
many
is
years.
very dark.
Until it wasn't.
Is the trick to not fall into a formula? I mean, obviously the writers don't have to do this, but not fall into a formula where twice an episode, like in the Hulk, the Hulk would have to Hulk out, or Vince would have to run through the tunnels to rescue Catherine.
Right.
To avoid that sort of.
I think they absolutely. There's no rhyme or reason at the moment to when he beasts out, apart from my sanity and 4 hours of makeup. But like in the first episode, he's talking maybe 3 times.
Yeah, so I think it's going to change. I think it won't be, I don't know if there'll be a formula or maybe one day there'll be a formula, but we're so at the beginning, we don't even know what the formula is.
I don't like formulas. Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully we keep it surprising.
Yeah.
And maybe there's other beasts on the run as well, who knows. He may not be the only beast.
How much?
I want to keep my job, but
Jay out. God.
How much are your showrunners telling you about what they have planned, or they keep it pretty
They're
close to the vest?
super open, actually. I mean, this is a very collaborative group of people, so they're not hiding a lot from us. But the fact is, we're at the beginning, so they're probably breaking episode 4 or 5 right now, and I don't know. Neither of us know the ins and outs of what's going on, but
Thanks, guys.
okay. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for it.